In the Gospel of Judas, Jesus is portrayed as a spiritual God and teacher who imparts secret knowledge to his disciples. Welcome to our video on the hidden teachings of Jesus that were banned from the Bible. Many people have heard of secret teachings that were supposedly kept from the public. But what is the truth behind these claims? As we delve into this topic, it's important to understand that there's no historical evidence to support the claim that any teachings of Jesus were banned from the Bible. The texts that make up the New Testament of the Bible were chosen and compiled by early Christian leaders based on their belief in their authenticity and relevance to the Christian faith. However, there are texts that were not included in the canon of the Bible, such as the Gnostic Gospels. These texts were written by early Christian sects known as Gnostics, who held beliefs that were considered to be at odds with the teachings of mainstream Christianity. In this video, we will explore the Gnostic Gospels and their teachings about Jesus. We will also examine the reasons why these texts were not included in the canon of the Bible, and their significance in the history of Christianity. So whether you're a historian, a theologian, or simply curious, we invite you to join us on this journey of discovery. Click the subscribe button below to join our community of learners and stay updated on the latest videos. And don't forget to like and share this video with your friends and family. Many people believe that the Bible is the ultimate authority on Jesus' teachings, but there were many texts that were left out of the official canon. These texts known as the Gnostic Gospels contain teachings that were considered heretical by the early Christian church. One of the key differences between the Gnostic Gospels and the texts that were included in the Bible is their view of Jesus. The Gnostics saw Jesus as a spiritual teacher. Rather than the Son of God, they believed that the true message of Jesus was not about redemption through his death and resurrection, but about the individual's ability to achieve spiritual enlightenment through knowledge or gnosis. Another key difference is that the Gnostics placed a greater emphasis on the role of women in Christianity. Many of the texts feature prominent female figures such as Mary Magdalene, who's portrayed as a close disciple of Jesus and even a leader of the early Christian community. It's important to note that these texts are not included in the Bible for a reason. The early Christian church had a specific agenda and doctrine that they wanted to promote, and the Gnostic Gospels did not align with that agenda. However, it's fascinating to consider the alternative perspectives and teachings that these texts provide. They offer a new and different lens through which to view Jesus and Christianity. It's up to each individual to decide how much weight to give to these texts, but they certainly provide a thought-provoking look into an alternative version of Jesus' teachings. The Gospel of Judas is a Gnostic text that was discovered in the 1970s in Egypt. The text is believed to have been written in the 2nd century CE, which is long after the death of Jesus, and it's not considered to be part of the canonized text. The text is considered a Coptic translation of any Greek version. The text presents a different view of Jesus and his relationship with Judas Iscariot than that found in the New Testament of the Bible. In the Gospel of Judas, Jesus is portrayed as a spiritual guide and teacher who imparts secret knowledge to his disciples. He is also said to have chosen Judas as his special disciple, and to have revealed to him the true nature of his teachings. The text also presents a different view of the betrayal of Jesus by Judas. In the Gospel of Judas, the betrayal is not seen as a betrayal, but as a fulfilling of Jesus' instructions. It is said that Jesus asked Judas to betray him to the authorities so that he could fulfill his destiny as the Son of God. The text also presents an understanding of the world and the divinity that is different from the mainstream Christianity which was emerging at that time. It emphasizes a Gnostic worldview where the material world is seen as inferior to the spiritual realm, and the ultimate goal is to transcend this world and return to the spiritual realm. It is important to keep in mind that the Gospel of Judas, like the other Gnostic Gospels, was written long after the death of Jesus, and it's not based on any known historical records or witness accounts. It should be read and understood in the context of the time and place in which it was written, and not as a literal or historical account of Jesus' teachings. The Gospel of Judas provides an interesting perspective on the diversity of beliefs and practices that existed in the early Christian community, but it's important to approach it with critical thinking and understanding that it was not part of the canonized texts. Another text is the Gospel of Thomas. This is also a Gnostic text that is believed to have been written in the 2nd century CE. It is not included in the canon of the Bible and is not considered to be an historical account of Jesus' teachings. The Gospel of Thomas is a collection of 114 sayings attributed to Jesus. These sayings are presented in a logian format, which means they are short, often cryptic statements, and are meant to be meditated upon. The sayings cover a wide range of topics, from spiritual teachings to parables, and from sayings about the nature of God to sayings about the nature of the world. The text emphasizes the importance of spiritual knowledge or gnosis for salvation in the text. a teacher who imparts secret teachings to his disciples. Some of the sayings of the Gospel of Thomas are similar to those found in the New Testament Gospels, but others are unique to this text and a different view of Jesus and his teaching that found in the New Testament. It is important to keep in mind that the Gospel of Thomas, like the other Gnostic Gospels, was written long after the death of Jesus and is not based on any known historical records or witness accounts. It should be read and understood in the context of the time and place in which it was written, and not as a literal or historical account of Jesus' teachings. The Gospel of Thomas provides an interesting perspective on the diversity of beliefs and practices that existed in the early Christian community, but it's important to approach it with critical thinking and understanding that it was not part of the canonized texts. It is important to note that there is no historical evidence to support the claim that any teachings of Jesus were banned from the Bible. The texts that make up the New Testament of the Bible were chosen and compiled by early Christian leaders based on their belief in their authenticity and relevance to the Christian faith. It is also important to note that there is no consensus among scholars as to the authenticity or historical accuracy of the Gnostic Gospels or any other texts that were not included in the canon of the Bible. Some scholars believe that these texts contain valuable insights into the development of early Christianity and the diversity of beliefs and practices that existed within the early Christian community. Others argue that they are not a reliable source of information about Jesus or the earliest Christian communities. Furthermore, it should be noted that the term hidden teachings is often used by various esoteric and mystical groups to describe secret or spiritual knowledge as only available to a select few. However, these claims are not supported by any historical evidence and should be treated with caution. In conclusion, there is no historical evidence to suggest that any teachings of Jesus were banned from the Bible. The texts that make up the New Testament of the Bible were chosen and compiled by early Christian leaders based on their belief in their authenticity and relevance to the Christian faith. Other texts that were not included in the canon of the Bible, such as the Gnostic Gospels, should be read and understood in the context of the time and place in which they were written, and not as literal or historical accounts of Jesus' teachings. We hope you found this video informative and enlightening. We've explored the topic of the hidden teachings of Jesus that were supposedly banned from the Bible, and delved into the Gnostic Gospels and their teachings about Jesus. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below to stay updated on our latest videos. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. Thank you for watching.